One of the most powerful new features in Mastercam 2022 is the Unified Multi-Axis Toolpath. The Unified Toolpath simplifies the workflow of creating multi-axis toolpaths by giving Mastercam users a single toolpath interface that contains every piece of classic multi-axis functionality. This toolpath isn't simply a collection of existing tools, however. By combining all this functionality into a single interface, Mastercam users can create new combinations of cutting motion that were never possible before. Traditionally, we would need a pre-existing vision of our target cut pattern before choosing a toolpath type. If I wanted to create perfectly parallel passes with a constant step over, I'd need to select the parallel toolpath. If I wanted to sacrifice perfectly constant step over to clean up some unwanted retract motion, I'd select the morph toolpath. If I changed my mind, I would have to start over again. With the release of Mastercam 2022, multi-axis programmers no longer need to spend time wondering which toolpath to use. The Unified Toolpath is the answer, even if you have no idea what your final toolpath should look like. Because of its all-encompassing multi-axis functionality, the Unified Toolpath has been given a prime location on the Mastercam ribbon. Let's open the parameters and look around. Upon opening the parameters, we see an interface that is identical to the traditional multi-axis toolpaths that we are already familiar with. The workflow of creating multi-axis toolpaths here remains the same. We first must create a cut pattern, then apply tool axis control, collision control, and linking parameters. Mastercam 2022 has scattered enhancements throughout these areas, but the only changes specifically related to the Unified Toolpath are inside the Cut Pattern tab. The majority of the Cut Pattern tab remains unchanged. If we shift our focus to the Pattern Definition area of the page, we can see the source of this toolpath's flexibility. The Unified Toolpath allows 4 different input types to define cut pattern. From left to right, they are automatic, curve, surface, and plane. Let's explore automatic mode, which is the new cut pattern type offered by the Unified Toolpath. Automatic mode doesn't require any specific entities to be selected to define the cut pattern. Instead, it uses the boundary of the selected machining geometry to create motion similar to that of the equal scallop toolpath. Let's select Automatic and enter Machining Geometry Selection. Turn off Level 100 and select these 3 faces inside the pocket. Click OK to generate the toolpath. We instantly have a very tidy cut pattern to develop into a finished toolpath. Back inside the toolpath parameters, set the tool axis control to fixed angle to axis. On the collision control tab, activate tilt avoidance to the shoulder, shank, and holder. For avoidance geometry, we can select the whole model. On the linking tab, set the retract height to 0 and change small links to direct. Finally, set all planes to bottom. If we click OK and regenerate, we have a totally clean toolpath. We can easily change our cut pattern approach under the Style dropdown. Instead of remaining parallel to the edges of the machining boundary, let's choose Center Parallel. This selection will run parallel circles around the calculated center point of the machining geometry. Let's also change our path priority to regions to reduce retracts and regenerate. Of course, there is a multitude of new options within the submenus of the Unified Toolpath, but there is one small, simple feature that can clean up the rough edges created by this particular cut pattern. Because there are some areas where a full step over can't fit on the machining geometry, many small cusps of stock will remain unmachined. If we open the Containment tab under Cut Pattern, we can activate Create Additional Cut from Containment and regenerate. These fringe areas are now machined by a single loop pass that runs on the outer edge of the machining geometry. Over the next couple of videos, we will take a deeper dive into creating real toolpaths with Multiaxis Unified. Whether you are an experienced Mastercam Multiaxis user or are trying Multiaxis programming for the first time, I hope you give the Mastercam 2022 Unified Multiaxis Toolpath a try, as it is clearly Mastercam's most comprehensive option for creating multi-axis motion.